Hello ICEM Surf fans, and welcome to this What's New presentation of the highlights of ICEM Surf 2021. My name is Nick McFerrin and I am delighted to be sharing the latest and greatest enhancements to ICEM Surf with you. At Dassault Systèmes, we have 3 surface refinement offers for styling and Class A use cases. CATIA ICEM is our mature, parametric and associative Class A solution inside CATIA V5 and 3D Experience. The ICEM Design Experience, known as IDX, is our exciting and new styling and Class A app on the 3D Experience. But we're here today to talk about ICEMSurf, our legacy explicit Class A solution, setting the industry standard for surface refinement around the world. Each year we add many new customer-requested enhancements. This year we have been very busy, adding 29 enhancements with 9 completely new commands. And here we have the ICEMSurf product portfolio, where we can see the specialized add-on modules, interfaces and educational licenses available. Remember, since 2020 we offer seamless direct CATIA V5 importing into ICEMSurf Professional, so no additional licenses are required for importing from CATIA V5. The ones you see here are third-party Theorem Solutions interfaces. And there have been some changes in the way we offer our educational licenses. Now, if a student is enrolled on a course teaching ICEMSurf, they can get a free homework edition to use at home. Let's jump right into the highlights of ICEMSurf 2021. This shows the main enhancements to ICEMSurf in both the .0 and .1 releases, which are available today. I'm not going to read them all out here. I'd much prefer to just show you, but you can see they're divided up into 6 general areas: modeling, diagnosis, ergonomics, data workflow, visualization, and performance. We have improved the layout and the default commands we propose for the quick function access menu. So these are available when you press the spacebar and the left, middle, or right mouse button. We can also configure double mouse buttons, but I prefer just to use the single ones. Over the last few releases, we have dramatically improved the ICEMSurf workflow through the use of more keyboard shortcuts and the quick function access menu. So it was requested that we add a quick and easy way to report exactly what has been configured, to make it easier for users to customize their working practices. So when you push this little save button right here, it generates this text file, and similarly for the keyboard shortcuts, you get a little text file produced to let you know what's been assigned. We now offer the ability to merge keyboard and quick function access settings from a selected preferences file. This is great if you sometimes need to switch between machines or locations, or you may have a different set of settings depending on what you're doing. Okay, here's a great enhancement to the ergonomics. We've added a new set of keys to access a secondary mouse menu. Now, the mouse menu is the menu that we use for navigation. So this is the mouse menu up here, left, middle and right mouse button. So you should be familiar with those. Also, if we're in a selection state, we've got select, OK and show on the different mouse buttons. But what we've done is we've added a new set of keys to access some different options. So this is an AZERTY keyboard on the screen. It's a French keyboard. And you can see if you push any of these keys, it introduces this new mouse menu. There's an added benefit of this new mouse menu, which it also gives you the options in the tablet menu, which means you can apply it to the quick function access menu as well. So let me show you what that looks like in ICEMSurf. So there's the shift key, but then if I press the key right next to it, with my left hand, that's the backslash or the pipe key, I get select, OK and exit. So these apply to the geometry creation and modification commands. So if I'm in the control point menu, for example, if I just kill off the selection, I can do the backslash key and the left mouse button brings back selection. Okay, or I can do the right mouse key for exit. So rather than having to push the little red X, I can just go right mouse button to exit the command. So there's a great enhancement to my workflow. Here's another ergonomics enhancement to speed up your display of scan data. We have a scan on-off shortcut. So again, you can add it to the quick function access or a keyboard shortcut to quickly toggle your scans off and on. And in a similar way, we've also added sections on and off as a toggle. Again, you can add sections on off to your quick function access or to your keyboard shortcut. So the sections one is great because rather than having to click this little arrow right here, I can pick it from the tablet, or I can just assign it to a shortcut. So it's a very quick and easy way to switch on and off my sections and my scan. And we've done a lot of work on the tablet panel. You'll see that it's been a little bit more organized. So the new shortcuts are highlighted in green here, so quite a few of those. In blue, we've moved from the Diagnosis menu, we've moved them onto the tablet menu for more efficient working. And also we've reorganized the grouping of the shortcuts. Okay, here's an enhancement with the Object Manager that I really like. Previously, to change the names of your parts or your molecules, you had to right mouse button on them and choose rename before you came to this option. Now, if you just click on the name in the list here, you can do it directly in the window, just Windows style. So let me show you how that works. So if we go to Object Manager, here we are. So we have part 1 and surface. So if I click on part 1, like so, and one more click, I can call it car 1 or something like that. And then for the surface, to show you again, I click on surface. So it's highlighted, click again. Now I can rename it. Let's call it hello. Okay, silly name, but makes the point. So a nice speed up for renaming your parts and molecules in ICEMSurf. In ICEMSurf 2021, we have harmonized many of the curve creation and modification commands to have the same look and feel with consistent names and options. So here we have the direction lock, and here we have the connection lock. So this is a tangent connection lock or curvature or torsion. We've added delta to all the commands as well. We've also enabled snapping to arcs for the first time. So let's take a look here at all of them together. So you can see that they all look very similar now. So this will make it easier to learn and to understand. We can now sort and reorganize how our lists are displayed in the toolbar and in the List and Object Manager menus. Let me show you how it works. So up here in the toolbar, we have these little icons, and I can click on this one to sort alphabetically ascending or descending, or we can even shuffle them to and fro with these little left and right arrows. And notice that they're changing also in the List and the Object Manager menus. The little icon also appears here, so we can change it here and also here in the Object Manager. I can also, if I want to, click and drag the list like that. We can do it here, and we can do it in any of the menus. I like to do it in the toolbar, it makes more sense up. We have reorganized the layout of the curvature command and added the really helpful auto scaling. When you click the OK button, the curvature scale is automatically changed to a percentage of the screen height, which is defined in your preferences. Same for sections, we have added the auto scale option when showing curvature, and also for SSI curvature plots. Let me give you a quick demo. Starting with the curvature plot, let's pick the curve. Now, normally you just push OK, and to change the value you have to manually type in the number here. Sometimes you didn't know what it needed to be. But now with auto, we can just push OK, and the curvature height is set as a proportion of the height of the visible screen. We also have this handy dolly wheel. Looking at sections now, if I switch on curvature, push OK, there we go. If I enable auto scale, it's automatically adjusted every time I push the OK button. And again, I can summon the dolly wheel right here, pushing this little button. And even for SSI, we have the auto scale option. Brilliant! Another great enhancement. In ICEMSurf 2021, there has been a huge amount of time and effort put into safety analysis. The old safety analysis has been removed from the menu, and we now support multi-threading to dramatically reduce the time it takes to do the calculations. A new graphical interface, which is carefully organized to help guide you through the process, makes it much easier to use, And also there are lots of improvements to configure how the results are displayed and stored in your model. So this is the old interface with 3 different tabs for 3 different analysis types. And on the right, we have the new improved integrated safety analysis interface. Let me give you a quick demo. Okay, let's start the safety analysis. So here's the new menu. The first thing we have to do is choose the geometry we're interested in. So I'm picking this surface right here. Notice it's appeared in the selection table. It actually displays the name of the surface I'm using. And we can build up lots of different selections right here. And we can right mouse on them. We can rename, duplicate, or delete them. We can also change their type, but more about that later. The next thing we need to decide is, are we going to put in our own numbers for the sphere diameter and the minimum radius? Or are we going to subscribe to one of the international standards, ECE21 for interiors or ECE26 for exteriors? So here is where you define the type of analysis we're doing. So we have 4 types, and you'll see that the menu is divided into 4 areas in the upper portion: general, grill, floorline, and tornado. Now we've picked the geometry, what we need to do is check that the normals are all looking good. So we have an automatic align button that we can press. Also notice that the different topological areas have been highlighted in different colors. This is useful. If we have a very complicated model, we can actually get a preview of the accuracy of the analysis. So if we want to take it down a little bit more than 0.05, we could impose, say, a maximum length of each facet of 5. Let's see what effect that's going to have. So that's a much more detailed analysis. Okay, I'm ready to push the OK button. So supporting multi-threading now, the analyses happen much more quickly. I'm going to switch off shading and let's see what we've got. So the blue is dominating the screen. So the blue area is where the sphere cannot touch. The green is touchable, but it's acceptable. But the red areas are where it is touchable and they are not acceptable. They are below the minimum radius allowed. I'm going to switch off the blue areas just to make it a little bit easier to see. Here's a great enhancement to ICEMSurf2021 safety analysis. If I right-click on the results, I get this context menu, and in here I can choose if I want to store in the DB the contact lines or the center point lines, and I can store them as raw data or as Bezier curves. So if I just click this button, ICEMSurf calculates where those lines are going to be actually on the geometry. So I can now save this model and share it with colleagues who maybe don't have safety analysis, or export it to another system or to CATIA V5. I can also remove these curves right here with just one click too. So that makes it nice and easy to use. Let's take a look at a virtual sphere. So if I click on this red area, for example, the sphere is placed on the model, and then I can use my middle mouse button to move it around. So this tells me very clearly where the issue is. And I can hop across all the different areas. Now, what I can also do is, if I can right mouse and I can choose to save the sphere, or in this case, I want to delete it, because I'm moving across to this double impact area. Now you can see the model now has these extra lines. The red lines represent the center of a sphere, and the yellow lines where they are touching the geometry. So if I pick this button and choose one of these red lines, there you can see that's where the sphere is having a double impact. And I can slide that around the model, like so. It makes it much easier to explain and understand what's going on. Also notice these numbers. These are the numbers that we need to report back to prove to engineering that we might have an issue. So you have the separation, you have the depth, and you also have the distance from the center to that separation line. Let's take a closer look at a 3 contact point situation. I'm just going to switch off the points to clear up my screen. But if I click this button, now I can pick on one of these red circles, and this shows me where a triple contact situation is occurring. A lot of information shown on the screen here. We can choose to toggle it off and on. So there's the curvature radius of the contact points, the distance between them. We can switch off the sphere. We can also switch off the lines. So it's highly configurable. If I right mouse button here, we've got some options. So I can say add sections. This is a really useful command because if I press it, this now stores sections through the sphere and through the geometry in the database as it actually appears in my sections menu. I can also choose to store my results in the database. Here we can also define the lift function if we want to. Let's jump back to the presentation so I can explain a little bit more about the other types of analysis. Grill analysis is very interesting, if a little complex. ECE26 states for grills with a repeated pattern of veins or ribs, we should consider 3 ranges of separation, meaning the gaps between the veins of the grill, for example. The first range is from 0 to 25 mm, and ECE26 states that the minimum radius can be 0.5 of a millimeter. The next is from 25 to 40 mm of separation, where 1 mm radius is allowed. And the third region is from 40 mm separation to infinite, so bigger than 40 mm. The minimum radius is 2.5 mm. The results are color-coded down here. We can change the colors if we want to, but ICEMSurf makes it quick and easy for us by automatically recognizing which minimum radius criteria is fitting to the various gaps between the contact points. Brilliant. Next is floor line analysis. The specific criteria can be seen here, grayed out if we choose ECE26, or we can define our own with the free option. What we're interested in is where the cone will touch the vehicle based on a specific plane. Previously, we could only pick planes parallel to the Z-plane, but we were asked to allow the selection of any plane. So now in ICEMSurf2021, we can choose any plane from this drop-down list. The last analysis is the tornado line analysis, or the bone line analysis. These styling features are becoming much more popular in modern car design, and they have their own specific rules controlling how small the radius can be. But it's depending upon a rather complicated formula, based on this section diagram here. The really helpful enhancement now is rather than giving you the numbers to determine yourself if they are okay or not, ICEMSurf now lets us know with a simple yes, no, okay or KO. Much simpler, no need for a calculator. And the last comment on safety analysis is we now support variants like in many other commands, another enhancement to make our lives easier and to save time. This is a nice new enhancement for Reference Manager. If you right-click on the reference from the Reference Manager menu, you get a new option at the bottom, which is Open File Location. This is really useful if you have a complicated session and you need to know more about the reference file, like, for example, the modification date or maybe which project folder it's in. We've also made some enhancements on how materials are handled in ICEMSurf Reference Manager. So we can choose to not include any materials at all, which saves time and keeps your material table clear. And we have some new options in the preferences to decide what happens when you have multiple materials assigned to one reference file. We now support PNG images, which is great because they have a transparency channel, or as we know it, an alpha channel. This is very helpful for texturing and background images where you don't want to see the white background of the image. It really helps to keep your screen clear and give a realistic effect. And here we have a super customer requested enhancement to support CATIA V5 captures. Now, if you don't know, captures are widely used to store geometric and production tolerancing data, also called PMI data. It usually includes small 2D sections, labels, text, and dimensions inside. They are like a layer which only displays the relevant geometry in a specific view, displaying the 2D info and all the leader lines on the top of the geometry. Now captures can be brought into ICEMSurf, we can avoid the need to have printed drawings or a second CATIA session to refer to when researching or checking Class A requirements like gaps, flushness, leveling or minimum radius requirements. So here is my CATIA session, and you can see that my captures are stored under the annotation set on the spec tree. So we have a selection of captures. So when you open your cap part or your ICEMDB in ICEMSurf, this is what you get. So for each capture, you get your own list, and the list includes just the specific geometry that you're interested in. And it also carries across the view that came straight from CATIA. Here we have another great enhancement to patch blend. Just like we can do with curves, we have added the option to extrapolate the reference patches. This is handy when they're not quite long enough. You can easily extrapolate them without having to leave the command. Trim now is activated by a checkbox, and we moved the ISO range slider's default range to plus or minus 0.5, so you can do a negative extrapolation if you want to. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so I want to make a blend between these two patches, between here and here. So nothing new to see so far. I can slide it back into the surface, but not beyond its limits, like so. So if I switch on extrapolate, this will extrapolate in the background, or if I want to, I can switch on trim, and this will actively extrapolate the patch in the middle of the command, which is great. So this really gives me fine control and efficient workflow as I'm making my blend surface. We've made some fantastic enhancements to the advanced fillet. You can see that we have two little pipettes or eyedroppers now on the advanced fillet menu. The first one allows you to interrogate a previously created advanced fillet, and it will reset or change all the values of your fillets to match what you picked. The enhancement in ICEMSurf2021 is when you hover over the fillet, it will show the fillet in white, and it'll show the sides 1 and 2 in blue and red to help you identify which fillet you're looking at. In a similar fashion, we've added a fantastic enhancement in 2021.1. It's the brilliant new capability to actually edit a previously created advanced fillet. It's important to know that this only works with untrimmed base patches, so it doesn't work with relimited surfaces. Blue is the selection for surface 1, and red is surface 2, and the white clearly is the fillet that's going to be created. Also good to know is this only works for fillets created in this new version of ICEMSurf 2021.1 and future releases, but it is a fantastic enhancement. Let me show you how it works. Let's go into the advanced fillet command. I'm going to hit the first of the little pipettes, and look, some of these fillets are highlighted in white. If I just now hover over those fillets with my mouse, I'll switch off shading for a second, you can see that it's highlighting in red and blue the surfaces that make up the base patches of that fillet. So if I pick on this one, for example, look, it's changed all of the values to be what that fillet actually is. Let's try the other one more time. And there we have it. It's changed everything back to be what this fillet is. So that highlighting is the enhancement to ICEMSurf 2021. But this is the new one that's so exciting. This allows us to edit selected fillets. So if I'm now going to pick on this, and it's highlighting in the same way, if we pick on this one, for example, like so, now I can change my radius value from 20 to, let's go for 30, see what we get. Boom. We can change the quality and just tweak away exactly as we wish to. Let's go up to torsion and see if we can make that a 40. There we go. So we can now actually edit advanced fillet, which is fantastic. This brings us on to some great news about background image. So previously, background image was a part of the Magic add-on license that was K45. But what we've done with ICEMSurf 2021 is we have merged it into K24, which is the base ICEMSurf professional license. In other words, you don't need to purchase an add-on license to get your background image capability. And also for background image, we've added this exciting enhancement to be able to offer a set of variants for our images. So you can import them, lots of images into your backgrounds and give them different names for different use cases, for example. It's much easier to show you rather than try to explain. So here under display options, you'll see we've made a couple of changes. So we've got environment here, we've got light, which I'll come to in a bit. And here we have the background image menu. So I can click on this little button right here, like so, and this takes me straight to background image. Now you'll notice there's a drop down right here where I've got some names. So these are actually my different backgrounds that I've set up already. So if I go for side 1, for example, you'll see that I've set up my scene to have these pictures as my background image. I've now defined side 2 as well. So maybe I've got a variant, or I'm choosing a different theme for my design, and I can just toggle between the two. I've also added an interesting mood board with these inspirational images in the background. And we can toggle off and on the visibility of the background images with just this tick on the display options menu. A great enhancement to background images. And similar to background image variants, we also now offer light variants. This is great if you like to use different lighting setups for modeling versus reviewing, for example, or interior and exterior light positions. You can save them all in your database and easily switch between the variants as you wish. And all the settings for standard lights are offered in a single light tab, just to keep it all together in one easy to find place. We also added the light variant selection and menu access to the display options menu. Let me show you how it works. So you see, here's my light menu, and here are my different names for my light variants. So I can pick them from here, or I can even pick them straight from the display options. So here, this is 3 beams, and you can see I've got my 3 lights there. I can go to 2 beams, and then I can even go to 4 spots. So it's very quick and easy to use, very dynamic, and I really love it. And continuing on the subject of visualization, here we have a visual quality enhancement, which is great if you use virtual reality with ICEM Surf. Even 4K images can appear a bit low resolution in VR. This is because in the case of a dome or a sphere, you only see a small part of the image at any time, so the resolution can look quite low. Now we support 8K images. This has a big effect on the background environment quality and improves the user experience inside a VR session. And also on the subject of virtual reality, here's a nice enhancement to ICEM HMD. We have added a handy laser pointer. Now when we are sharing our VR display with colleagues, we can use the laser pointer to indicate which part of the model we're talking about. It makes it much easier for everyone to understand clearly what the operator is trying to say. Here's a short video to explain. So here we have Sylvain at a workstation and Manuel, who is looking at the design on the big screen. So Sylvain is going to pop on his HTC Vive and use his laser pointer by pressing the menu key on the controller to indicate a particular feature of the design to Manuel. It's a very intuitive and easy way to explain what it is that you want to show your audience. And we've also made some background improvements to the rendering performance. In ICEMSurf 2020, we offered advanced rendering for shaded surfaces. So now we've actually introduced wireframe as well. So you can see here that for surfaces and wireframe, we're getting a factor of over 100 times faster, taking advantage of modern graphics cards like the NVIDIA RTX range. Also on the topic of visualization, here we have a great new capability for materials. You can see we have reorganized it a bit with the materials list above and a set of tabs below. And look over here, we've added a set tab. A material set is a definable collection of user-selected individual materials. You could make one called exterior paint, for example, and include lots of different materials. Then you simply assign the material set to your part or surface as you would a single material, but you can easily change the current active material here in the tab. Let me show you some screenshots, courtesy of Stellantis. So we have a material set here called case. There's an S to indicate that it is a set. I stands for individual. And have a look. These are the materials that make up the set case. And then we can toggle through and define different materials as the active one. Brilliant. So here it is. Here's my materials menu. And you can see that I've got a material set called Ext Paint Set. There's the S to indicate that it is a set. So what I can do is I can assign that to my model using the material shortcut. So replacing all the exterior white paint with a material set. And there it is. So now on the Set tab, I can choose which one is the current color with a double click. So we can go for this purple or for the yellow or for the green. Very quick and easy. And here we've reached the end of the presentation. Here's a summary page showing all of the enhancements we introduced in ICEMSurf 2021. We had 9 new commands and 29 new enhancements. Sadly, we didn't have time to get through all of them today. If you'd like to know more, please get in touch with me or your DASA representative, or for simple questions, just post them in the comments below and I will try to answer them for you. I really hope you enjoyed the show, and all that's left to say is thank you and goodbye.